Hello everyone and welcome to the Nekozuki Knits podcast. My name is Katie and today is Saturday, October 15th, 2016, and this is episode 45. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're new or returning, welcome and welcome back. And I know a few of you are over in the channel because of Knit City, so thanks so much for checking me out. And if you're there, thanks so much for coming up and introducing yourself. I'm really sorry for the radio silence. I did actually record a very short preview episode on the Friday in Vancouver, but unfortunately my iPad kept dropping the internet connection when I was trying to upload because it was locking and it dropped the internet. So I didn't really want to leave it unlocked for the whole day, which would have been what would happen or have to happen so that I could upload the episode because I had to go set up. So I'm sorry for that. I could have tried later and at that point it was too late anyway because all I was talking about was a preview for Knit City. I will probably still try to upload that just so you have it because there are a few of those bags still in the shop. But otherwise it doesn't have much information, so I'll just kind of do it as a 44.5 episode. But otherwise, the other part of the radio silence is because I got super sick after Knit City and I was annoyed listening to myself sniffle and cough, and I didn't want to have to record that and have you guys have to listen to that. So I'm not 100% yet. You might hear that I'm nasally, but I'm not quite as sniffly or hacking up a lung as I was last week. So I apologize if I do have to pause though and cough or anything like that. But let's jump right into the knitting. I do actually have a little bit. I finished the Ridge for Your Pleasure socks out of the Ancient Arts Yarn Eiffel Tower. This is their 80% merino, 20% nylon blend. And I do have the second sock, I just didn't pull it out. This is actually the first sock. But yeah, the Ridge for Your Pleasure pattern is a pattern that I released earlier this year, designed for variegated sock yarns and up. There's a whole bunch of different ones. There's a mitten set and two different hat patterns along with the sock pattern. This is the large size and really enjoyed it. This is not a yarn that I would typically choose in the skein, but caking it up and knitting with it, it's gorgeous. I'm foreseeing like some really awesome little kid sweaters in like a worsted weight in this color, so that might have to happen here. So that's a finished object. I do have a hoe. There was some wool piggery at Knit City. I was writing my notes earlier and I was like, oh, that's a lot of yarn. But one of the yarns, it's all good yarn. It's all fantastic yarn actually. But one of the ones that I had to cast on right away is the Mud Punch that I got. This is self-striping. She's out on the island. Yeah, I think she's out on the island. She's somewhere on the west coast. Anyway, it's really hard to come by. I didn't want to have to pay shipping, and Bad Anna's had some of her yarn there. So this is the In Particular colorway. It is 80% superwash merino, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And I finished a sock while I was there. Well, I started it at the show and then I finished it in Victoria about a week later. I did actually knit a lot when we were on vacation. But I did finish that. Which brings me to my works in progress. I'm actually currently working on the sock. I will be knitting on this during the episode as well. And I just realized my floor is really bright, but it's giving me good light. It is, however, washing that out a little bit. It's making it look really bright. Anyway, it's gorgeous. I'm loving it. I'm loving how it's named up. It's 385 yards for 110 grams, so it's a fairly heavy fingering. I think that's about the same as the Ancient Arts yarns. So it's bouncy and it's fantastic. And also one of my acquisitions. And then the other one that I'm knitting right now is something else I picked up while I was at Knit City, and that's the Authenticity by Soft Sweater Knits. And I'm knitting it out of another acquisition at Knit City, which is Sweet Fiber Canadian yarn in the Breakwater colorway. It's an Aran weight. And it's turning out gorgeous. I'm loving it. It's on US 9 5.5 millimeter needles. and it's going to be gorgeous. Right now it doesn't look that good, but it's lace, so it's going to look fantastic once it's finished. That's what I keep telling myself. And I'm housing that in the kimono bag that I actually got in Japan when we were there. And the socks are in one of my own bags, one of my small box. And the socks are being knit on US 2.25 millimeter needles. So those are my works in progress and some of my stash enhancement. It's a very small part of my stash enhancement. The Canadian is actually 3 skeins because that's what I needed for the shawl. I wanted to test out sweet fiber and I was like, oh man, I don't know what to buy and blah 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 blah. And then I was like, but I just bought this like awesome pattern that uses sweet fiber, so I should just get some of that to test them out. And I'm really enjoying it. It's Canadian, 100% Canadian wool, and it's really soft. I'm actually shocked. I was not anticipating it being that like it's rustic soft, which is interesting. It's such a different combo than I've ever experienced before, but I'm enjoying it. Okay. So then the other part is I did actually get quite a bit of reading done, which was nice. Between like the calm down periods in the evening after Knit City and then in Victoria too. I started and finished A Dictionary of Mutual Understanding by Jackie Copelton. It's a story about a Japanese woman / family dealing with the fallout after Nagasaki. Told quite a bit in the future. I think it's like been 40 years. And it was interesting. I find that some of these stories can be difficult to read, and it's not like this one was easy, but it also balanced blame and fault. There we go. About what happened, and it did really well doing that, I find, because a lot of the stories can be difficult, like I said, and it was dealt with there's a word for it, and now I can't think of it, but it was dealt with very well. Because, that's such a good description. Anyway, I would recommend reading it. It is definitely an adult book, but it was really good. Then the other one I read was Jonathan Livingstone Seagull by Richard Bach, and I did not care for that one. I thankfully read it in the afternoon, but feels like one of those stories that has a deeper meaning that I just didn't get. Like, it was so obtuse that it just, yeah. Anyway, it's a book of its time for sure. It's an older one. The last one that I just finished is The Keeper of the Mist by Rachel Newmayer, and I did really enjoy that one. It's a really good, just easy young adult book. It does a really good job of balancing dynamic male and female characters, which is fantastic. And yeah, just a nice light read. It's a fantasy, and yeah, I enjoyed it. So that's what I ended up reading. I'm not reading anything now because I just finished The Keeper of the Mist. So that leads me into chatter. Obviously 2 weeks ago was Knit City. Thank you so much, first and foremost, to Amanda and Fiona for organizing another amazing event. For me as a vendor, it is my best show, and that is in part because of all you guys. Thank you so much for being very generous and generous customers, and thank you for continuing to support me. Half of it is also obviously Fiona and Amanda, and thank you so much, ladies, for putting on such an amazingly well put together show. It was busy all weekend, and that kind of Sunday was fantastic for me, and that definitely makes a difference for me. It is quite an investment to go out to Vancouver for the show, and however, if it keeps growing as it is, I am very happy to continue to participate. I will be back next year, simply because I like visiting with people. It gets kind of lonely. being in my house with just my cats sometimes. So it's fantastic, and I'm not complaining. I love my job. I love working from home, but getting out and talking to people is also very nice once in a while. So I really appreciated that. And thanks for everyone who came up and told me that they were watching the podcast or they just were like catching up on episodes. And I really appreciate that too. And I hope that you continue to enjoy the podcast. Obviously, like I said, quite a few of you seem to have joined right around or right after Knit City. So I do really appreciate that. Excuse me, there's the cold. Obviously it's awesome to chat with you guys and to hear that, because I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage in that I can see that you're subscribing and everything, but sometimes there's not a lot of feedback, simply to know that it's getting out to everyone. So it's awesome to see you in person, even more so than comment on YouTube or Ravelry. So thanks so much. And I was really happy to see all of you, see lots of people that I met last year, meet new people. I drove out on the Thursday, September 29th, and it was a good drive. I got stuck in Revelstoke for about an hour and a half. They were doing rock blasting. They said it would end at 11, so I went up at 11, and then we didn't start moving till 12:30, which will happen. The construction wasn't as bad this year, which was good. But it was there. But it also worked out because Carrie's plane didn't get in till later, so that was good. And it was really awesome meeting Carrie in person. We had a fantastic time over the weekend. She was an awesome roommate. And then we drove up to Whistler on Monday, which was good. The drive was gorgeous, although I do have to say that nothing can beat the Rockies for mountains, really. At least in Canada. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of other mountainous regions, but definitely the Rockies for me. I'm a little bit biased towards them, but it was a gorgeous drive. There's not too much up in Whistler itself. I was actually kind of surprised. Excuse me. There's a lot of hiking trails, but we weren't prepared for hiking. So we did a really good lunch, a really good fish and chips. Excuse me. And then we drove back down to Vancouver. We tried to get to Stanley Park, but we screwed up the turn. And then it was getting late. So we just kind of went back to the hotel room and chilled, which is good too. She had to pack to go the next day. So the Tuesday, Dallas actually flew out to meet me. And we went to Granville Island on the Wednesday. We did actually, between Carrie and I and him, we did hang out with Paul and Michelle of Stitch Please, which was awesome. It's always nice to meet new people at these events. And we had a lot of fun. We went for tacos at Tacofino, and we went for sushi at Blowfish. And oh my goodness, it's such good sushi. So that was really good. What else did we do? Yeah, we went to Granville Island, which was cool. Lots of really interesting little shops and a couple I want to go back to. There's an embroidery place that will do your logo. So I'm thinking that I should get something embroidered with the Nekozuki Knits logo maybe. So that might be really fun. And then what else did we do? We went to Victoria, which was busy. We visited with friends and did lots of shopping. And ate lots and lots and lots of good food, which is fantastic. We have our list of places we have to go when we're in Victoria. We went and did tea at the Empress, which we do because we did that on our honeymoon, and they'd done a bunch of renovations actually in the tea room, but it was really good. They did a really good job of it. The tea itself, I think, is actually better. Like the food around the tea is actually better than it was. And they kept the Empress blend, which is like an Assam blend that you can only get there, and it's really good. We brought some home as well so that we continue to have our supply. The weather was good most of the week. There was a gale that blew through one of the nights, but that was okay. It didn't really affect anything. I'm really glad that we're back now, considering the storms on the coast. I hope everyone is staying safe. But I saw some of the pictures of that ferry ride across, and I'm very glad that we were not on that ship yesterday. I am not particularly nauseous most of the time, but I am prone to motion sickness, and I'm pretty sure that would have gotten me. So yeah, thanks to everyone who came. Thanks to Paul and Michelle and Carrie. I really enjoyed hanging out with all of you guys, and I'm hoping that we can do it again next year. We have been discussing other shows. I am going to try and start expanding out from Western Canada, and they had some excellent suggestions on how I can do that. If you guys have any suggestions, I would really appreciate it. Do you have a show in your local area? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. Obviously, going east is a little bit more of an investment for me even than going west to Vancouver, but I would still really like to know and kind of decide what I'm going to end up doing now going forward. Alright, so it's stash enhancement time, and the level of wool piggery, guys, was extreme. There are so many amazing vendors at Knit City this year, and I love supporting vendors, in part because a lot of the support that I get is also from vendors, and from all types of makers, obviously, because you're a maker as well. And most of this I can't get. No, none of this except for what I purchased in Victoria I can get locally. So this is kind of my chance to get local to Vancouver yarns, as Olds and Calgary are my chance to get local to Calgary yarns. So yeah, let's get right into it. I've got 3 different sections because I had 3 different shopping times. Basically, I have Knit City, I have Granville, and I have Victoria. Knit City is definitely the most wool piggery, although Victoria is pretty up there too. I told Dallas when I was leaving that I had a certain number, and then that didn't include the cardigan yarn that I wanted to get when we were in Victoria. I ended up with a pullover, not a cardigan. But I very properly went over that amount. I am justifying it a little bit in that 2 of the skeins are actually for gifts. Actually 3 of the skeins, because 1 skein will go towards Dallas too. But anyway, I'll show you this again. I got the Authenticity Shawl pattern by not Sweet Fiber, by Soft Sweater. And then I also got her Fossil and Bone. So I'm super excited to knit both of those. Obviously, I already started the Authenticity out of the Sweet Fiber Canadian in the Breakwater colorway. And then you already saw the Mud Punch, the one, and then I did purchase another one. It's Mud Punch, and there's all her contact information. And this one is the Harry Hudson colorway, and it is gorgeous. This is one of the first things I went and got on Saturday morning, because I do my 15-minute dash before the show starts usually. But I also love how she balls these up. And the little boxes they come in. And the other cool thing is this little box actually fits in my small box bag. So, hey, if you buy Mud Punch yarn, you can put this box in your small box bag by me. So there's that and the patterns. Across from me at the Ancient Arts Yarn booth, there's Kelly Norwood. And he did a custom notions tin of Dahlia and Remy. Now, the funny thing about this is so basically I said, he kept enticing me with these notions tins. And I went, well, you can't really paint a black cat on a black tin, which obviously he did. Basically, he said, try me. And I'm like, okay. So I finally agreed. And he's like, I'll just need a couple photos for reference. I'm like, okay, I can do that. What's the number, blah, blah, blah. And he gave me the number, and I texted the photos. And about half an hour later, he comes up to me and he's like, well, I didn't get your photos yet. And I'm like, what? Like, because I sent them half an hour ago. And he's like, no, they're not here yet. So I look at my phone and realize that I messed up a couple of the numbers. So some random person in Vancouver, or a 250 number, got photos of my cats. Glamour photos of my cats, because I'd just taken a bunch when they jumped up on my photo taking table the other day. And they'd read it. It was another iPhone, so they had the red receipt on and everything like that, and they looked at the photos of these cats, and I'm like, my god, they must think, like, either that made their day or they were super, super confused. So who knows? And then the other person I visited first thing in the morning was Black Cat Custom Yarn, because she was giving away Black Cat Custom Yarn bags with a purchase of 2 skeins. So I had to go see her because obviously with Dahlia, everything Black Cat or Black Cat reference is amazing. And from her, I got 2 skeins. I got an everyday sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's 115 grams and 400 yards in the one of a kind colorway. So I'm super excited. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's gorgeous. Then the other one I got was Nyan on her Starlight sock, 115 grams, 400 yards. This is a repeatable colorway, unlike the other one. And of course it was Nyan, and it vaguely looks like the Nyan cat, kind of as a variegated. And I love how it's like dark. It's also got every tiny bit of sock or sparkle, because it is actually 84% superwash merino and 16% stellina. She calls it sparkling stellina, which is awesome. Carrie was knitting with Crazy Dog Dye Works, and she actually did give me a skein. Thanks so much, Carrie. Because I was like, oh man, I should have gotten you to get me some, and then I could have paid you back and just used you as a yarn mule. Because I'm terrible. I don't actually know the colorway. I can't remember. But it's really gorgeous. All of these sock yarns are super like bouncy and plump. It's amazing. Then the other one I knew I had to go get was Stitch Please, who is Michelle and Paul. And I got their Sapphire Label fingering weight. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's 423 meters per 100 grams. So it's a little bit lighter fingering, that's fine. And it's a Slytherin colorway. So it is super hard to find anything besides a Gryffindor self-striping. So this is it. At least in Canada, where I don't have to pay ridiculous amounts of money for it right now. The color is not Slytherin. It is actually, his father will hear about this, which is fantastic. And you can find, that's all their information. Stitch Please, hand dyed yarn, stitchesbeslippin.com, or Stitch Please yarns on Etsy. And I guess I should actually tell you that Black Cat Custom Yarn that's her contact information here. I will link all of these guys in the Ravelry show notes, and I am going to start posting show notes on my website as well. Then the other one I got from her is also a Harry Potter striping, and it's Everyday I'm Hufflin'. So yellow and a variegated blacky gray, which is awesome. And both of these skeins match, that's why it's split, which is awesome. Thanks so much, Michelle. I'm super excited to get these. So those are the presents. And then the other one I got, was I went to Caterpillar Green Yarns, of course. They've got some new colorways up. This is a thin striping yarn in the Night Market colorway. I was thinking it looks like cedar boughs, but it's a really good color for Dallas. And this is on their Merino Twist Fingering Classic Striping, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it's 405 meters per 115 grams. So yeah, I'm super excited to cast that on, especially since I screwed up his socks from them last year. I feel really bad, although now I get them. But this will be a nice one to knit for him too. Then the other one I got from them is specifically for me. I don't know why it's so messy on the end there. Pink Light. So, okay, we were up there and he's like, well, you don't like pink, do you? And I'm like, no, not at all. But then on the ferry, a guy came up to me and he's like, well, is it natural? He's joking, obviously. And I'm like, yes, it is. So yeah, those were those. And then I did get Ancient Arts yarns because even though she's local to me, look at the speckles. This is one of her new colorways. It's, Little Wild Things. It's on 80% superwash fine merino, 20% nylon, fingering sock. And it looks pretty kind of there. But look at the pink. The pink is my hair, guys. So I'm super excited to get into this skein and see what else is in there. I haven't even opened it yet. But yeah, it was sitting there. She had said to come over and have a look because things were selling fast. So it called my name as soon as I walked over. Then the other one I got was Bumble Birch in their forage, which is a worsted weight. 220 yards per 100 grams. 201 meters per 100 grams. In their boysenberry colorway. I've got a bunch of babies coming into my life through friends. And this colorway is perfect. I think I'm going to knit the Kyoto sweater. Because reasons. I'm not going to tell you in case they're watching. And sorry, this is... Yeah, I told you this was sock. Right? That's worsted. Oh, sorry. The yardage on this is 385 yards per 100 grams. So it's really plump. That's the Ancient Arts yarn. And, okay, so that's everything. That was everything from Knit City. And then I ended up going to Fiber Art Studio. I didn't get a chance to actually see them at Knit City, but I knew they were down on Granville Island, so of course I had to go see them. And I got a hand-dyed Donegal. I'm going to show you this way so I don't flash the price, hopefully. And this is hand-dyed. It's really cool. Obviously the light is washing it out. This is truer to color down here. It is 100 grams for 438 yards, 85% superwash merino, 15% net or nylon, and it's hand dyed by Roz at Fiber Art Studio. Super awesome. I've never worked with tweed before, so that's exciting. Then the other one I got is a hand-dyed sparkle sock yarn, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and it's 438 yards per 100 grams. And those are my colors. That's true to color. Absolutely gorgeous as well. And look at the sparkle, even though it's only 5% stellina, it's gorgeous. Finally, in Victoria, I got buttons for my Little Wave cardigan, which I will show you once I get them sewn on. I haven't had a chance yet. I got rugged. The only yarn shop I went to there was Beehive Wool Shop, because that's what I do. I got Rugged Knits by Andrea Rangel because I want to knit this front sweater, and there's a couple other ones in there that I want to knit. Like, I didn't even know this one was in there, and then I saw it, and I'm like, it's gorgeous, and I want it. Braided Burke. There's a couple color work ones, but I'm going to have to adjust the shoulders on it, just so that they come up higher. I want these socks, lily toe socks. The nice thing about that one is I'll be able to knit it pretty much out of anything. And then this wrap, Surging River wrap. I don't know, I think I was recording at that point, but I knit the Sentiment by her a couple years ago. Year and a half ago, I guess now. And it was a big chunky shawl, and this is another big chunky shawl, and I want it. So that's Surging River. She's got some good men's patterns in here. Nothing Dallas would wear, but decent ones. This one's really cool. I really like. It's called the Cedar Bough shawl. Nice and simple, it looks like. Not quite as big and bulky as the Surging River. There's a hoodie pattern. Lots of hat patterns. I didn't know this one was in there, but I want it to. It's the Elderberry Road cardigan. So this is actually published by Interweave, so you should be able to get it on either at your local yarn shop or on Amazon. It's not like it's a self-published small thing. Not that that's bad either, but it's Interweave has a bigger distribution network, so you should be able to find it fairly easily. But yeah, this is definitely the sweater I want. It's a colorwork sweater. It's the Hazy Cloud pullover. It's a cover sweater. Really, I bought the book for this sweater, which is kind of crazy, but there's lots of other patterns that I found once I flipped through it, so I was like, okay, I can justify that. And then what I got at Beehive was a sweater's quantity of Madeline Tosh. Sorry, there's a bunch of like extra string hanging out of some of these. I'm gonna try and find one that's like a little bit better. It's the Tosh Vintage. It's 100% merino wool. It's worsted weight, and in the liquid gold colorway. And that's pretty true to it. It's got lots of tonal variegation in it, and it's going like, I've been wanting a yellow sweater, and I didn't think that yellow would work very well for me, but I think it will, especially with the pink hair. And I think this is going to become the Aran Telluride Aran. It was out of Interweave a few years ago. And so I have the pattern, so I may as well, sort of thing. So that was everything. So definitely wool pig level extreme. I spent a lot more than I anticipated, but that's okay. It's all gorgeous. I will knit it eventually. I am doing really well in stashing down, so I don't actually feel too terrible. Just slightly like a wool pig. Well, and a couple of these things are gifts, so there. We'll just leave it at that. If you don't want to hear about shop news, this is the place to leave. I will chat with you on Wednesday. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more knitting done by that point. Or maybe even the authenticity will be done. And yeah, I'll chat with you soon. Alright, so for everyone who stuck around, I do actually have quite a bit to talk about with the business. There's a couple big changes coming. Well, one change has happened. I am selling through NekozukiKnits.com. How that works is right now, everything is listed on that site. Listings are starting to expire on Etsy, and as they do, I am no longer renewing them. I believe most of the listings will be out of the Etsy shop by January, and none of my new listings will be going onto Etsy. Obviously, if you contact me through there and are really hesitant about my own website, then I will gladly go through and do a custom order for you. But I would prefer to keep everything to this new site, actually. Simply because I feel like the Etsy platform was a fantastic place to start, but I've grown beyond what they're able to provide. The biggest thing being the live stock, so being able to sell in person and have that show on the website. So I'm really happy with the shift so far. I hope that you guys will stick with me through this transition as well. I do have incentives up on the site, which are a little bit different from Etsy. You don't get a coupon code every time, but you do start to accumulate points through other means. So you can, it's a rewards program. You sign up for an account, you get a certain amount of points, you get a certain amount of points for your birthday, following on Instagram, purchases, following on Facebook, all these kind of different options that you'll get a certain amount for each action that you do. And I think it's a good way to do it because you also can accumulate those points through purchases in person, and then they add up so that you can basically, it seems like you can add them up and then purchase a coupon code to get a certain dollar amount off your purchases. So that's happening. The other part that will be happening is in January 1st, I am going to be rolling out a new pricing scheme because I need to be able to sustainably grow my business. Currently, my pricing is not sustainable, especially with the growth that I do want my company to have. So those will be coming into effect January 1st, or that first week in January, whenever I start putting new items into the shop in 2017. What will happen with the old product is none of it will be affected. It will show up as a sale item until it's gone. Basically, it'll just show the old price and then compared to the new price, so it'll be on sale. Just so that there is something around until it's all kind of gone. I don't want to jack up the prices on what I've already agreed as a price for the current product. So that's that. So the new site, it's NekozukiKnits.com. I will link it below here. I'll probably have put it under my face at the beginning of this section, just so I remember to do it. And I know where to do it, because whenever I do this, I can't see it on my video unless I do it for an exaggeratedly long time. But anyway, here, NekozukiKnits.com. You can also find the link in my profile. on Instagram. I'm updating on Ravelry, and it'll be all linked in my show notes and all of that good stuff. The other part I would like to say is thank you so much for your support. My business has grown exponentially this year, and what that's led to is I was actually able to invest in an industrial machine when I was in Vancouver. I purchased it from Mason Sewing, and it's Juki Industrial. Super happy with it. She's so pretty, and she runs super well. I've been testing her out the last couple of days. So happy with the performance. What this means for you guys is my production level does go up, and it also means that the bags are more durable. Because I'm able to stitch smaller stitches faster, I can turn my stitch length down a little bit, and that will make the seams more durable for you. It obviously it will make the fabric more durable and all of that, but the stitches will be more durable, which I'm super excited to be able to introduce. Yeah, she runs super nice. She's super quiet. Holy, I love it. Quieter than my home machine, which is saying something considering that I'm also doing 3 times the stitch amount or something ridiculous. And really enjoying it so far. I was playing, like I said, I was playing around with her yesterday, and I'm actually going to make myself a bag because I need a bag, and test her out to make sure that I can move forward with her well, because I do have a bunch of items to prep for Calgary Fiber Arts Fair. So Calgary Fiber Arts Fair is my last in-person show for the year. It's November 12th and 13th at the Triwood Community Centre. If you are familiar with Calgary, Triwood Community Centre is just off of Northmount, after you've turned off of Charleswood. So it's basically you turn off Charleswood to the right, and then just down the road, there'll be another right turn before 19th Street. It's accessible by transit. There's a bus stop right behind us, and if you want to walk, if it's not too chilly, you can walk to us from Brentwood or the University Station as well. It's a 2-day event. It's Saturday and Sunday. It's 9 to 5, and we're super excited. We have a lot of really awesome vendors. I will also put the Calgary Fiber Arts Fair website down here. I think it's calgaryfiberarts.com, and you can follow us on Instagram with @YYCYarn, because I know that we're going to be rolling out a bunch of photos for the event here soon. There's not much else to talk about. Thank you for your support. Thanks for coming and watching the podcast. Awesome to see everybody at Knit City, and I will see you on Wednesday this week. I will get back onto a normal schedule. Fingers crossed. So thanks so much, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.